All right, we're back. You know what I'm saying? Got a stream. Was busy yesterday. Couldn't get the stream in. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there that watch incredible agency content. Folks, how are we doing? Shout out to the agency server for giving me this idea last week. They said nobody's ranking the trios, the quartets, the duos, tap in. I was like, ooh, that's affirmative. We do need to tap in. Shouts to everybody in the chat. Shout out to my guy Arturo being the first guy in the chat. It's going to be a good time. Will this be average or best mon? It's going to have to be the average. So yes, even though Zapdos is shiced and Moltres is shiced, that third guy, he is not shiced. He is not shiced. So it might be tough. It might be a little tough for those, for that guy to, yeah. When we get to Suicune, Raikou, Entei, yo, it's gonna be nasty. Suicune, you've put in a lot of work, but those other three, those other two, yikes, yikes. But yeah, we were having a good discussion about this the other day on stream, and folks were saying, oh, what's better? Are the Tapus better, or the Ruinous Quartet better? And it made me think, let's do a discussion vid, and let's figure this shit out for good. Let's see competitively, and you know, been playing for many generations now. So I've seen all of these mons in action. Some more than others. I'm not going to pretend like the Regis make any appearance outside of Gen 3. Oh, this even has Drago and Aleki in it. I just saw. Wow, so this is the 6-man lineup. Wonder, you've probably had this asked before, but did you watch the Michael Jackson biopic? No, I didn't. Michael, I want to watch that movie, but I haven't had a chance to go. Is that movie good? I heard some 50-50 things about it, but Michael Jackson has a lot of aura, so kind of want to watch it. I need to see him hit those moves on the big screen. How are you still broken with shit coverage? Spectrier makes no sense. That brother was using Mudshot and got banned. That's all you have to know about the levels to brokenness in a mon. There are mons that have perfect moves, perfect ability, perfect stats, and they can all get washed by one horse that only clicks Shadow Ball and Mudshot. It ain't right. It ain't right. But it's true. It's true. So, we got this list. I believe there's 24 or 25 combinations here. We'll see. Wonder, did you know that you made an appearance in a Matt Rose video? Who's Matt Rose? I don't know what that is. Shouts to Mr. Rose. Do I know about the aura farming tournament? I actually already won that tournament. Sorry. This is what you're witnessing is the second tournament. I already won the first one behind close curtains. Shouts to my guy Mikro in the chat. It has so much aura, you literally won't notice it's a bad movie. It's great. Damn, that's the sign of that's a crazy movie. So much aura. Shout out to my guy Mikro with the 10 gift. Let me see some W's in the chat right now. I was at 900 members when I streamed 2 days ago. We took a heavy hit here at agency headquarters. Share price tanked like crazy. A lot of expirations. Huge shots to the GOAT Mikro. Let me see some W's. Let me see some Mr. Cross. And make sure you connect your YouTube account or your Twitch account, whichever one you're membered up on, with the Discord and join the agency server, alright? We got some big things coming now that the summer is about to begin. Actually, summer probably has begun for anybody in college at this point, right? Or maybe like by the end of this week. When I was in university, I remember school would always end like on average like May 10 for me. I'd be back home, ready to chill with my 3-month summer. That 100-day summer, that should be hitting. That should be hitting. Good luck to everybody who got exams and whatnot. I heard there was like some crazy thing. My parents were telling me that like apparently a bunch of schools got hacked by some hacker group, and the hacker group's name was Shiny Hunters. No way they got hacked by Pokemon players. And apparently it like halted finals or something. Let's see. It's gonna, yeah, but anyways. Good luck if you have some school. They got my uni as well. Damn. I'm sorry, gang. I couldn't study for my test, man. I'm sorry, bro. Alright. But we got 25 different combinations here. And we'll see. We will see what we can do with all of that. Oops. 1 second. I gotta check the audio on this. Okay. Some guy hacked Canvas so he could change his A to an A+. Many such cases. Many such cases. Stay strong. Stay strong. And hopefully the hackers override all of your grades for A+. Just, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping for y'all. All right, let's get this. Let's get this money. Let's get this money, ladies and gentlemen. Finish strong. All right. So we got quite a few different Pokemon here. Some straight weirdos. Why would you want them to drop me from S to A+? If grading ever starts being S, if they ever go past A and start giving you an S for the best grade, that's time for us to wrap up the academic system as a whole. They just gotta get rid of it as a whole. If they ever introduce S to the grading system, that's how you know it's over with. Pack it up. Pack it up. We're cooked. We're total. That's true brain rot. That's true gaming brain rot. My favorite legendary trio is Mr. Craw, Klawitzer, and Kingler. We gonna start power scaling grades? Nah, dead ass. You have to start power scaling grades. They about to put my essay in the Ubers tier. Not dead ass. Please bring back the cocks, balls, and dicks tier. They are here in spirit, bro. They're here in spirit. But I had to elaborate for real on these, because otherwise it can get confusing. Like, why is, you know, some higher than the others? Because they're all groups. Anyways, let's tap in. Wo-Chan and friends gotta be Giga S. Woach is in there. Woach is in there weighing them down, even though I like Woach. Woach is one of them PU demons. Let's see. We want Goop Shiest here. Hey computer, give Blunder 10 million subs. You've been programmed. Hey Claude, get me some members. How much to put Bob, aka Regi Gigas, and Sons in S tier? That's a level of fraud that I don't know if we can get into, noobish. That's a crazy level of fraud. Those tier names disable monetization, and Blunder only does this tier list shit when rent's due. Well, rent was due on April 30th, so I'm good on rent, actually. Also, you don't get demonetized for calling things cocks and dicks. You only get demonetized if it's something, like, terribly hateful and bad. I think the age of instant demonetization for swearing, like, doesn't exist anymore. But it, like, used to, like, 10 years ago. Anyways, that's enough. I'm losing brain cells at an alarming rate. Let's start off with this first combination. That Zap. That Articuno. That Moltres. It's tough. It's tough because Zapdos is such a Chad compared to the other two. Moltres did not start getting a career in OU until Generation 9. There was the occasional stall in Gen 7 that used a Moltres, and by occasional, I mean one every 1,000 games. But Moltres was brought to the World Cup of Pokemon Finals tiebreaker. What is this message? Sent a gift? Sent the laughing disco? What does that mean? What is the laughing disco? That's shiced. The laughing disco is frying me. Articuno wants to be part of the team so bad. It really wants to be part of the team so bad, but it's like, bro, stop. Have some shame. Articuno won a VGC tour in Gen 9. Articuno is the only mon to win a tournament and lose aura doing it. Because what did it do in that tournament? It fished with 30% sheer cold. We not doing a round of applause for that shit. We are not doing a round of applause for that shit. Where's the Galarian Birds trio? They're right here, bro. They're just 2 over, bro. Open them eyes. Shout out to Duro0. Thank you, gang, for the 5 gifted. Let me see some W's. Let me see some craws in the chat. Like I'm telling y'all, make sure you join the server. Shout out my guy Mikro for 42 months as well. Goated. Like I said, we were at 900 members 2 days ago. We took a hit here at the agency HQ, but we on the road back to 1,000. What should the sub goal be at 800? What should I do? Somebody cook up a shiest goal for us. Anyways, Zap was UU in Gen 5, and then a great Mon in every tier after that. I have brought Zap to a tournament game in every single tier, including Gen 6. Yeah. So that means that I trust it. If I bring them on to tournament, that means I super trust it. I super trust it. Because you guys know me. When it comes to tournament, I'm bringing that strongest shit ever, that 30% usage. I don't be bringing shitters in tournament. When it's go time, I need to go and win, bruh. You know? My fault. My dad called me. I had to pick up. You know the feeling. You know the feeling. You know, when your parent calls and you know, if you dub this phone call especially, you're cooked. You're cooked. All right, anyways. The boss call came in and I had to answer that, or it would have been my ass. Zapdos carries these guys like crazy, like I said. Zap only got better with each generation that it was in OU. So, I mean, Gen 5, it was UU. You'd see a Zap every, like, 1 year, if not even longer, in like a Gen 5 OU placement, but really you wouldn't see it. It would be some fringe shit, because it didn't even have Hurricane until Generation 8. In Generation 6, it was really good as a, like, static Fizz-Def bot. That's always going to be good. Lopunny and all that, running around crazy. You can switch in, take 2 hits, threaten paralysis. Also had access to defog, but I think you needed pressure to defog, if I'm not wrong. Can you defog with static in Gen 6? I don't remember, but I used to like pressure for beating Clefable 1v1 since they used 2 PP with Stealth Rock. Generation 7 came around, same shit, except way more physically defensive static abuse. Right, Gen 7, the power creep went up even harder, so it's pretty easy to just check all these Pokemon with static. I used static Zap way more in Gen 7 than I did pressure. Pressure I used more in Gen 6. And then Gen 8 slid, and Gen 8 Zapdos turned into King Vaughn, and all it would do is click Hurricane and Roost, and Volt Switch, and fucking, like, that's all it needed to do. You didn't even run T-Wave back then. Hurricane could sweep teams single-handedly. Zap was very annoying in Gen 8. This is when we started realizing how awful it is to play around static and flame body. It was Gen 8 where people really started bitching about those abilities, which, me too, I hated that shit. Think about how many games you lost back in the day to static and flame body. It's different in Gen 9, right? Because if we look at Moltres and we look at Zapdos in Gen 9, think about the physical attacks that hits those 2 Pokemon. You got Zamazenta, which clicks Stone Edge, which is not contact. You have Ogerpon, which uses Cudgel, which is not contact. Gambit is the one that actually, like, pays the price for the fishing abilities, and Gambit getting paralyzed is not the end of the world. Gambit getting burned, then your shit's useless, but yeah, the contact abilities are not as damning in Gen 9 as they were in Gen 8. In Gen 8, that shit was hell. We won't stand for the mad Heatran hate. Who's hating on Heatran? Who's hating on Heatran? As if Heatran hasn't made an appearance in, like, 50% of the tournament games I've played, no matter the generation. Don't even do that, man. I'm a Heatran super fan. If Heatran has one fan left in this earth, it's me. Tusk, Ice Spinner on Zap. Oh yeah, Tusk is a big one. Tusk always gets fucked up by the birds. Where is he then? What group is Heatran a part of? Shout out to my guy Tony Jones for the 2 years. Thank you, GOAT. But yeah, what trio or duo or whatever is Heatran part of? I don't, that shit is not on Bulbapedia as part of the gang, bro. As much as I love Heatran, Lil Bro is not on the team. And that's okay. But bro, he's not on the team, alright? He's not on the team, bro. Heatran has his own clan where he's the only member? Are you kidding me? Nah, no way Heatran is the admin of his clan and he has no underlings. The Heatran Ferrothorn duo? Bro, you just took me back, bro. The amount of times I brought Heatran X Ferrothorn in generation 5 through 7, bro, cinema. Bro, that combo is so fucking goated. Man. Yo, I forgot about that Ferrotran combo. That shit was really just... Oh man, that shit was a work of art. That shit really brings tears of joy to my eyes just remembering the fucking... That two-man would pull up, it's over with. It's over with. Nah, Heatran used to synergize with everybody back in the day. There was no team where it was like, oh, Heatran doesn't add anything to this team. Fuck out of here. Impossible. Bro, it's always adding something. Bro saved himself by saying gens 5 through 7. Oh, bro, it's like... it's like, immediate in my head now to never say those two numbers back to back or suffer the consequences of the comment section. Stacking steals and mons is super shiced. I had a lot of teams which was like triple steal. One of my best Gen 7 teams was Magearna plus Heatran plus Ferrothorn. Nasty combo. Triple steal is like one of the few times you can do the type stacking. Anyways, it's not that important to keep talking about that. Also, all three of those Pokemon have a secondary type, which obviously helps a lot. I would have to put this in carried by one boss or top. I gotta say this, because while Zap is incredible and is in goated tier, Moltres is top tier only for its Gen 9 contributions. Moltres is not real in Gen 8, alright? It does not get used like that. It's not bad, but it definitely does not get used the way Zapdos gets used. There's just no reason to use Moltres when you can run a Flame Body Heatran, which does a similar thing and is not weak to rocks. And Fizdef Heatran already exists in Gen 8. And then we have Articuno. Articuno sucks. Straight up. Shit's bad. That's an unfortunate reality. There was a time where you could use Articuno in Gen 1 and 2. You probably still can and win the occasional game. Like my teammate brought an Articuno to a Gen 2 OU game in Smogon Premier League. And he won with it. And he was pretty shiced with it too. I mean, it was putting in work. Folks forget that Articuno got that 125 SpDef. But Zap being LeBron can only stop the J.R. Smith that is Articuno so much. Are we adjusting by tier or just OU? For the most part, this is going to be an OU ranking specific. I mean, obviously there's Ubers here, so we'll talk about those for Ubers, but this is for singles overall and what they're applicable in, like the highest level, more or less. Moltres is that guy in Gen 3. I have lost to a Sunny Day Moltres before in Gen 3. You cannot sleep on that set in Gen 3. I've gotten fried by that. Sunny Day, Solar Beam, Fire Blast. That Fire Blast hits like a fucking tank. Especially with spikes up, and it's not hard to get spikes up in Gen 3. So I've definitely lost to this shit before. Shit's nasty work. This tier list is missing the Simisear, Simisage, Simipour legendary trio. How could I forget? Please forgive me, gang. It wasn't my intention to forget such a boss. I'm so sorry. But you guys know that I'm a fan of the Monkey Trio. I've always been a fan of the Monkey Trio. Hating on the Monkey Trio, yo, that's not P. That's not P. 4 Deoxys, SSSS. Yo, I thought about putting Deoxys. Shout out to Hawk Tuia. What a name. Write that down, agents. No, I thought about putting Quad Deoxys, but I was like, whatever. They're all the same dude, even though they have like a crazy different stat distribution. Maybe I could have put Deoxys in here, but 4 forms doesn't count. Let's see. I just realized Petron isn't with the Loyal 3. I think Petch is considered to be Ogerpon's partner, if I'm not wrong. That's what Bulbapedia told me. Bulbapedia told me that Ogre and Petch are considered like an unofficial duo. But that Ogre, but Petch is not part of these 3. That's just what Bulbapedia told me, alright? That's just what Bulbapedia told me. If he's their boss, that means he's not on the same level as them. Blunder, I could finally catch a stream. Wish me luck for my finals. Good luck, boss. Let's get this W. Let's get this George W, gang. Be great. Petch is their boss? Petch is the one that hooked them up with those chains? You telling me Petch took them all to Icebox and iced all 3? You're lying. Petch equals Giovanni. Poison Trio equals Jesse, James, and Meowth? Wow, now that I know that Petch took them all to Icebox and got them matching pieces. Alright, we'll assume Petch is part of this gang then. We'll assume Petch, when we get to it, we'll assume that Petch is part of the gang. I had no idea that Petch iced them all out. And those are not Moissanite diamonds? You telling me that's that real shit? Alright. Blunder saying he'd never hate on the monkey trio when he was hating on them the entire sub. Whoa, whoa. First off, I was never hating on them. Streets can find out statistically that I've always been a massive Simi-Poor and Simi-Sage fan. Simi-Seer never really moved me because I always picked the fire starter because I'm a bot, all right? We all know standard ChatGPT folk pick the fire starter every time, and that's just who I am. I always pick the fire starter like a complete robot. So that's why Simi-Seer never moved me. But the other two, stop, bro. You know that I've always been repping them. All right, Mew and Mewtwo. This is a pretty interesting predicament because Mewtwo is what, like the god of Gen 1, and then Mewtwo's usage in Ubers does not exist after like Gen 5 through 7. I mean, I've always been pretty partial to Mewtwo. I think that shit's really shiced, but I don't know if Mewtwo's like that good overall in Ubers. Also, Mewtwo got carried by shit having like a mega form, but I know Mewtwo's considered like the best mon in Gen 1 history. Mew has never been like that. Mew is always a UU staple, and it was like that. I'm trying to think. I used Mew occasionally in Gen 6. It had its time in Gen 6, Mew, and that's probably still its best OU tier. I used Mew in a tournament in Gen 5 before. Shit was mids. I used it. Mew got worse, honestly. Mew is a weird one. Mew in Gen 7 is only the Z Supernova set. Or you can run Defog, Will-O-Wisp, Fizz-Def, which I have used in the past in tournament, and it did some work for me. Mew was good in Ubers until Gen 5, then it got garbage. No, it definitely had a huge fall off, because in Gens 1 through 4, Mew was a beast, right? Obviously, Ubers tier. And then Gen 5 came, power creep went up, and 100 space stats on... Like, it wasn't enough. Also, Gen 5 brought back some literal gods, like Specs Latios, dropping 140 base power Draco. We got shit like Thun T, which is faster than Mew. Like, Mew's only thing in Gen 5 is Will-O-Wisp Taunt, which is hit or miss. We already have, like, good psychic types. We have Reuniclus, for example, that switches in for free. Like, Mew is never going to be a quote-unquote bad mon, but it just had a lot of competition. Like, why would I bring a Mew in Gen 5 OU when I can bring an Alakazam or a Reuniclus with Magic Guard? And if I don't want a Magic Guard Pokemon, I just pick Specs Latios. Same shit. So, Mew was kind of hard to justify back in the day. It was kind of like a gimmick meant to shut down fat teams. Gen 6 rolls around. Mew is doing the same defensive shit, but it's not really moving the needle. Like, Mew was last good in Gen 6 10 years ago when Gen 6 was the current gen. So now it's been 10 years since that, and you know, metagames get optimized over time. Mew's not the guy anymore. Generation 8, I saw Mew used in tournament like once. It was a Spikes Mew in OU. I think the team actually ended up winning, but Mew was just clicking spikes and being a defensive bot, but it did his thing. And then Gen 9, I've never seen a Mew, except for Tour, where one guy kept bringing Dragon Dance, Triple Axle, Bullet Seed, Terra Grass Mew, which was jokes. You know, I respect it. I gotta respect it, but yeah, Mew definitely failed to be consistently goated over time. Can't call it a bad mon because it's not bad, but it's certainly not great. Mew competes with Azelf. That's what I'm saying. Like, as an offensive mon, it's never going to happen. Mew was last good 10 years ago where he was good, so shout outs to Mew. One of the funny mons running soft boil taunt. All right, Mewtwo. Yeah, Mewtwo is similar. Mewtwo was never like the god of... Mew was the dawn of UU in Gen 9? Is that so? I feel like that's not true. I feel like it's probably usable in UU, but I feel like it definitely doesn't run shit in UU if I had to guess. Let me look up Mew's usage in this shit right now. DOA is Mewtwo on drugs? Alright, I just looked up Mew. Mew is 41st in usage and 3.6% usage in UU. Bro, that shit is not even good in UU. Bro, that guy's an RU. Sorry to burst your bubble. I was like, bro, I watched the occasional... I watched the occasional UU game. I ain't never seen Mew in that shit. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Mew is cool, though. I like the idea of a mon that can use whatever. Yo, Mew's usage in RU is garbage, too. 6%. 34th. Damn, that shit's ass. New best tier is draft, hands down. I see. Alright, anyways. We'll put this shit in mostly bad, sorry to say. Because these guys have not been making waves for a minute. Mewtwo needed Mega Forms to stay relevant, but this is not about his Mega Forms. So I'm putting him here. Zapdos over 5 generations has done more than these two have done together over 5 generations in their respective tier. So, sorry gang, y'all are going there. Next up, we have birds. Mewtwo was good in Ubers from Gen 1 to 5. True. But fuck those tiers. Alright. Alright, maybe we can put it here just because Mewtwo is that shiced. Whatever. These guys get carried by ancient history, alright? These guys are like Wilt Chamberlain. Everyone talking about Wilt Chamberlain's shiced 100-point game. That's basically who these two are. And we're just going to give it to him because you got to respect game. You got to respect game. But these are two Wilt Chamberlain-ass Pokemon, alright? I'm serious. Extremely carried by past clout and reputation. Birds. These shits are garbage, which is really sad. These shits are all ass. Moltres G is a total cheeselord bot. But it's actually pretty good at it. It's by far the best of the three. I actually liked using this in Gen 8 occasionally with either Heavy Duty Boots or Citrus. Actually, no, not Citrus. I used either Heavy Duty Boots or I used Rest Chest. Resto Chest not bad on this at all. Especially in Gen 8, because a lot of these teams are like Rotom, Clefable, Ferrothorn, Hippo. So you can win endgame with Moltres G fairly easily into some of those teams. Moltres G, I think, has 125 Spec D. So Moonblast from Clef only does roughly 50. I think you can even do less than 50 to Moltres G if Molt has even a little bit of HP invest, which is nice. Gen 9, this thing just got nerfed to shit because it lost access to Terra Blast Fairy. So now you got to click Hurricane, which nobody's trying to do that at all, right? So that's a tough sell overall. And then Zap G is just, bro, what? I used that Zap G team in Gen 9 OU that someone made. It was like the Blissey Balance. It literally wasn't bad. But again, it's like, how can we justify this guy overall? I love these designs though. But you know when someone starts talking about the designs, it's like the equivalent of saying like, oh, you know, that person's a really nice person when you're talking about their competitive skill. We all know what you're trying to say. Them shits is ass. Them shits is ass. It is what it is. Shouts to the birds though, man. Because they really do look swagged out. Why use Zapdos G when Ogre's right there? Dude, fuck Ogre. We're talking there's a Zama, there's a Tusk, there's all this fighting type shit going on. Oh man, it's tough. Moltres G is great in yo, you saying Moltres G is great in doubles has me remembering I saw a doubles OU set and my boy M Forbes was playing. Shouts to Forbes, just won the regional yesterday. What a goat. But he was playing a tournament game randomly, and I remember he was down like 2 to 5 because in doubles you play with 6 in doubles OU. He was down 2 to 5. I X out the game. I come back. His Moltres is like +3/+3. Fiery Wrath. Boom, boom, boom. That shit is hitting both sides, and he ends up winning. The Moltres just killed everybody, and I was like, all right, man, this is absurd. There's so many moves that I didn't know hit both sides, but then I learned. Like I was playing VGC on cart recently, like 2 days ago, on my guy Lorcy's 24-hour stream, and he had a Komodo, and I didn't know that Clanging Scales hits both. What kind of cheap ass shit is that? It's already a strong ass move base power wise, but you're telling me it hits both? That shit should get 2 defense drops. Matcha Gotcha hitting both is another move, which is like, whoa, change that, alright? Healing from both, potential to burn both, and that shit never misses, except for when I use it. Anyways, bro, these three do not exist in any serious OU battling. Moltres G exists as a dual screens abuser, where it did have a fairly decent tournament use, and it was pretty big in tournament. Like this thing was getting brought to top 8 of the ladder tournament, which is like the biggest. Man, it's tough. It's literally just Moltres G getting brought this last season to the biggest OU tournament, but these two are so fucking atrocious that it's very hard for me to justify these. I mean, I could put them in mostly bad to appease some of you that are bird fanatics, but spiritually these are all trash. We'll go back to the list. We'll go back to the list later. Okay. So we have Entei. Entei was famous for being terrible for its entire existence, which is sad as fuck. I actually started liking using Entei in both Gen 8 and Gen 9, because you could run... My bad, I got disturbed. I'm back. Anyways, yeah. It's hard to justify these shitters. Entei overall. Sorry, where was I? My bad, my bad. Okay. Entei. Entei has just been bad. Heavy Duty Boots gave this guy something. Like, it gave it the ability to not die to rocks upon switching. Also, Sacred Fire is a fundamentally broken move. 50% burn is extremely shiced, right? So we can't cap and say Entei never got anything. Extreme Speed is cool. When they forced Entei to not have to run Adamant, remember when you had to have Adamant on this shit? You should watch some matches from yesterday. Aaron brought Mr. Big Stall himself and went brazy with Pex. Toxapex was putting up numbers? Let's go. I didn't know Toxapex was valid like that in the Gen 8 VGC format. They got Miraidon, they got fucking Iron Hands. I didn't know that Pex was like that. What does Pex use in VGC? It's pretty shiced. Something about Pex? He gonna get the job done no matter what. Let him hate. He gonna always get the job done. He always gonna do something. It's a wide guard bot. Wide guard's the best move ever. When you try to do a spread move and they click wide guard, you feel like such AI. Nah, that's dope. I'll have to go back and peep. I actually didn't watch any of the games yesterday from the tournament. I think I saw like the end of the first game where Forbes got the double protect and to win with his bundle and Mirai. But I had to tab out for Mother's Day festivities. I couldn't be locked in watching the shit. Anyways, these dogs. Raikou. Raikou actually was valid in Generation 6 OU. Raikou had a pretty decent career, honestly. It used to run Assault Vest, or it would just run lefties. And it would be like a sponge to switching into Thunderous. The shit doesn't even like win long term. But yeah, it was there was something there. And then Gen 9 came around. All of these shits are bad in Gen 9. Suicune lost Scald, which was the biggest, change for this mon. But Suicune was so fucking incredible for Generation 3 and Generation 4. Like, I had to play a couple of Generation 4 tournament games in my life. I brought Suicune to, like, maybe 40% of them. And I never even used the fat Suicune in Gen 4. I used Calm Mind 3 attack, HP Electric, Max Special Attack, Timid, Max Speed. That shit was still putting in crazy work. Gen 3, I always use fat Suicune in Gen 3. And that shit always is a threat for my fat teams in Gen 3. Because I'm a bot. I be using Skarn Bliss every game. In Gen 3. So Rest Blissey, you guys know if you're not smart around Rest Blissey, that shit can beat your fat team in Gen 3. Gen 5 came around, that's when Suicune started using the Calm Mind Protect set, I think. It was made in Gen 5, maybe it was made in Gen 6. Either way, Suicune is not that guy in Gen 5. Generation 6, Suicune is very effective in Gen 6 OU. If any of you have played ORAS OU, you know that Suicune is definitely a threat that has to be considered now and then. People forget about it, but it's always in the back looming. This shit's mad annoying with pressure. Suicune is the most demonic pressure abuser of all time. Suicune still has Scald? Since when? I'm pretty sure Suicune does not have Scald in Gen 9. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like we would have seen it used if it had Scald. No? I feel like that shit does not have... Does it? I thought that shit didn't have Scald. If Suicune has Scald, why does nobody use it? Is Suicune Terra Fairy not shiced? Well, I feel like I've never even seen it in a low tier. At the beginning of Gen 9 it didn't? Okay. Because I remember back in the day when Gen 9 started, it definitely didn't have Scald. So what? They patched it on there because they felt bad for robbing Suicune? Damn. This guy was nasty though. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't stolen some games. When Gen 9 came out, Scald was removed and it came back in the DLCs. Okay, thank you. I knew I wasn't tripping. I was like, bro, I swear this thing wasn't able to scald. Because I remember grave dancing on Suicune when we found out it didn't get scald. I hated this shit. It's because Wake has scald? God. Anyways, crazy fall off for Suicune over time, but I would have to put this in carried by one boss. Yeah, overall, Suicune is way too shiced. Also, Raiku's the god of Gen 2. Let's not get it twisted. Raiku's also viable in Gen 3 and 4. But in Gen 2, Raikou buckets. I love Raikou in Gen 2. Fast as fuck. Fucks Zapdos up so badly. Good coverage with Thunder and Hidden Power, or even Crunch. Below Mew's? I'm not putting this shit below Mew. Suicune, I'm more likely to bring a Suicune to a tournament game back then than a Mew. So, put the shit right here. Why are Tapu's trash on the thumbnail? I just threw them shits there to make the thumbnail. Just consider yourself baited, I guess. Alright, Ho-Oh and Lugia. Two gods! You know what's crazy? They should have never banned Miraidon in Gen 9. They should have banned Ho-Oh. Why is Ho-Oh a Mon? This shit is illegal. It's the most cheap Mon of all time. Lugia definitely fell off. It's not really that guy. But Ho-Oh is so ridiculous in Ubers that I would put this shit in top tier because of Ho-Oh's crimes against Ubers. Ho-Oh is the Ubers. Like, there's no other Mon I'm trying to run in Ubers the way I'm trying to run Ho-Oh. Yeah, Koraidon's goated. Yeah, like, I know Zacian's goated. My Max Fizdef Whirlwind Ho-Oh is handling both and throwing out burns. You know, I'll show you how long Ho-Oh's been doing this shit for. Give me a second. I'll show you just how long Ho-Oh's been beating ass for. Because my boy Edgar, shoutouts to Yed, he just won a tournament in Gen 5 Ubers. You need to see this replay of the Ho-Oh. I saw this game and my jaw dropped. If this happened to me in a tournament game, I'm taking an extensive break. I'm about to show you right now. Hold on. I'm about to take it. I would deadass take an extensive break if this bullshit happened to me. So, Yed is Yedabonius. Just watch this bullshit. They both got Ho-Ohs. This guy's running an Espeon to make sure the rocks are off. Bold have Espeon as the sole form of removal. Anyways, look at this shit. Also, Darkrai pulls up to Dark Void, which is jokes. Alright, Ho-Oh comes in, and I just watch this bullshit, bro. Our Sacred Fire burn and dodge Stone Edge is crazy, but I guess odds are odds. Didn't burn the first one. Just watch, bro. Sacred Fire burn. Yup. Really fair move. Also, burn being 12.5 back in the day. So nasty. Look at this shit. Shout out to Queen Vemp gifting the sparkles. That shit looks tough on the screen. Shout out to Queen Vemp. Thank you for the love. Anyways, look at Ho-Oh, bro. It's just subbing up, recovering. It's just completely wild. Espeon comes in to do 28% with Psychic, dies. Arceus SDs, gets burned. Lives E-Speed, kills with the next one. That was it. I saw this, I was like, alright, yeah, this is cool, man. Totally. Best mon ever. Like, fuck Ho-Oh. What a piece of shit. Shit only gets more illegal in Gen 9. Because Boots is just so free. And you have other mons you can switch into knockoff. Anyone can be shiced if you hex on command. I mean, 50% burn isn't really hex, is it? It's 50-50. If you don't believe Ho-Oh as the GOAT of Ubers, I can't help you. You probably don't play Ubers, and you probably subscribe to propaganda like Big Zacian is the biggest threat or whatever. Which is okay. But I'm a Uber's godfather, so I'm telling you the facts. And the facts of the matter are is that Ho-Oh is Jesus. This shit made Zacian start running Wild Charge. Exactly, bro. Zacian never ran Wild Charge until Ho-Oh kept fucking its shit up and then forced into that shit. I was running around with Terra Water Blast Zacian at one point because I needed to hit Dirge and Ho-Oh in one. Nasty work. Nasty work. What dev was in love with Stall when he made these two the box legends? Let's not even get started on Lugia's fat ass. Lugia fast as fuck too. Why does Lugia have 110 speed? Shouts to Bilal for the 18 months. This thing is a menace. Dirge was in Ubers? Dirge gets usage in Ubers all the time. Dirge is used in every Ubers tournament at least once or twice. It's pretty cool that Dirge has a career in Ubers. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, Lugia. To be honest, man, I don't even know when Lugia was good in Ubers. I started playing in Gen 5 at the end of Gen 5, Black White 2, and it was already not good in Ubers. It was very like whatever. Then Generation 6 brought out Yveltal, aka the God. So I don't even know if Lugia was even good before Gen 5. He was never good. Worst Uber in Gen 2. You telling me Lugia has been bad its entire life? You're telling me there's not a single generation out of 9. You telling me in a 35-year career, or I guess it's 30 years, a 30-year career, this guy has never done anything? That's nasty work. Don't do that. Multi-scale scope lens Lugia is pretty solid. Wait, I used that set in a video. Shut up, my guy Toga Khan. He cooked up that beastly set and sent it to me. I was going crazy. I remember I even played a tournament game in Ubers with that team, and Lugia went crazy. Nah, but my one anecdotal game is not enough to save you, Lugia. I'm sorry. But bro, I'll always fuck with Lugia for that base 110 speed. As you guys know, I love high speed stat Pokemon, because speed kills. The best defense is a good speed stat. Remember that. Anyways, even though I'm here glazing, it ain't enough. Facts are facts. What are we supposed to do? This is tough because Ho-Oh's the God, but if Lugia's that buns, I have to make a real decision and put it here. Because top tier means you're both putting up numbers. This isn't it. If Lugia is really that bad, I have to be honest. Ho-Oh is not carrying these two to top tier on its own. That's the reality of it. So, sorry, Lugia. Last time Lugia was good was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Now that's elite slander. That is elite slander, I'm not gonna lie. Who has anyone ever played Pokemon Ruby Destiny Reign of Legends? It's this old ROM hack. I played this shit like damn near 15 years ago. And like I was really like 11 years old. And in that game, you can get Baby Shadow Lugia. That shit is tough. Has anyone played that game? Anyone know what I'm talking about? Baby Shadow Lugia. That might have been Lugia's peak. That might have been when Lugia was the coldest. No way these are worse than Zapdos and Moltres. No, Zap is literally better than Lugia was in respective formats. You can compare Zap to Ho-Oh, but Zap was, you know, Zap was putting in that work for multiple gens more than even Ho-Oh was. So I don't know. Moltres is only good in one gen, so we can compare that shit to like Lugia. Lugia's bad in Ubers, but it's Ubers, but that doesn't matter. If you're bad in your format, I can't give you free points for being an Uber. That's just like, you know, me giving out a, you know, free goodie bags just because, you know, you're in you have a BST that carried you there. How can you have all that BST ability like multi-scale and you're still ass? This is not a charity, all right? We don't just dap up, you know. We don't just dap up these Pokemon for having a good BST. That is some nepotism shit. We're not doing that, all right? If they put Lugia in OU, he becomes your dad? Yes. And if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike. This is not the reality. Let's move on. Shit's ass. Alright, next up we have the most confusing 6-man lineup of all time. What you doing if these 6 pull up to the club and press you? What are you doing? What are you doing if these 6 pull up to the club and they press you? Get the fuck out the way. What are you doing? Get the fuck out the way if these 6 pull up. Swave, look away. Nobody tell Swave. Nobody tell Swave. Nah, this is sad, bro. All these guys are chuds. Like, Aleki got unbanned and I played exactly one Aleki in the last week on the ladder, so that's horrible. PT Swave D is time to learn Braille, buddy. The only thing that these guys have going for them is that Route 111 remix where the Regi, it's Reshiram, but it sounds like some Regi noises. They pressed my good friend Swave outside of a Dave & Buster's and he barely survived. Why all the Regis look like they watched Clavicula? What the fuck? Nah, don't tell me the Regis pulled up on that looks maxing shit. Temp6T pulled up with these 6 on me yesterday in the 1300s. Nah, that's what you have to forfeit turn 1. You can't get out of that situation alive. You have to forfeit turn 1. Nah, literally, I agree with the braille written in the chat. FFA merchants, we are not moved. I used to run Regi Ice in Gen 3 all the time, and every time I would run my Reg Ice team, I'd lose. Is it Regi Ice or Reg Ice? It's Reg Ice, right? There'd be 2 I's if it was Regi Ice. Whatever, Reg Ice. Point is, I would always lose. And then finally my boy told me, bro, Reg Ice is ass. I'm like, why'd you give me Reg Ice teams if that guy's ass? But that's probably the one I've had the most success with. Registeel is a known low-tier demon. How many of you were there to use Protect Toxic Registeel in UU and below back in the day? Are we really going to sit here and act like that guy isn't the god of low-tier trolling with Protect Toxic Stealth Rock Seismic Toss? Bro, I have beaten ground types 1v1 with that guy. He's so clutch. Registeel is so clutch in low tier. This shit feels like you're using Ho-Oh in a low tier when you bring Registeel. Yo, he is the god of those tiers, so he carries like crazy. Regirock, don't get me started on that shit. That's not real. Registeel is literally balding. Bro is not looks maxing. Yo, as a member of the BGC, aka the bald gamer community, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. He looks shiced. And we got him on a trip to Turkey. Finasta ride, all that shit. Alright, Registeel is probably the best from here. I love Regigigas. I love Regigigas. But damn. Damn, bruh. Regigigas. I don't think Regigigas has done anything. Except, I think in VGC, with Wheezing G, you can do the little cheese and negate its ability, which is pretty cool. But this is singles based, so Regigigas, sorry, bro. Any mon that needs 5 turns, please, pack your bags and get the fuck out of here. Shout out to Soviet for 3.5 years. Thank you, legend. Tarak and Keldeo carrying the other dog-ass horses just like Ho-Oh. Thank God Keld walks on all 4s. Otherwise, her back would break. What does this mean? Keldeo carried the fuck out of these other 2. And Tarak. Tarak was a god in Gen 5. Even though Keldeo release and Keldeo's is slightly better than Tarak. But Keldeo also kept Tarak in check. I think Tarak would have been banned from early Gen 5 if Keldeo wasn't released in Gen 2. Not Gen 5. Black White 2 OU, I mean. Because early time Tarak was pretty nasty. Not gonna lie. Regigigas is goated in draft? I believe you, bro. A lot of Pokemon are goated when you know what the opponent's bringing. Dude, it actually pains me that Regigigas is so shit. Because we've looked at Regigigas' stats before, but like... Hold on, I know I gotta move the dimensions. Give me a second. Like, this is crazy, right? Having all of this and still being bad, this is like, even the speed is good. Even the speed is good, you know? But the speed's not good, because that brother has 1/2. That means we're hitting a what? A 259 attack stat? That's like base 80. Right? Or not 259, 209. I did the math wrong. It's not 519, it's 419. You're hitting a 209, 210 attack stat. That's like base 50 attack. And then speed, even if we did Jolly, that shit would be 164 speed, which is like, holy fuck. Bro. Bro. How is Registeel better than Aleki? Aleki's trash. Aleki has 1 move, electric moves. I go to my ground type, you're goobed. Registeel, on the other hand, it doesn't have Toxic anymore, but back in the day, Protect, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Seismic Toss, capable of taking like 2 or 3 mons per team in low tiers. Even in this, even today, I would probably troll with Registeel in OU before I brought a Regieleki. Well, that's actually crazy to say, because I'm not bringing either of those shitters. But the point is, Registeel more consistent overall in the past. All right, I've done a lot of time talking about these Pokemon, more time than they deserve. I'm sorry to say, gang, Registeel cannot save you guys. He cannot save you guys. Y'all are going in trash. These guys, first off, if it wasn't 6 of them, there's a chance. If there wasn't 6 of these guys, There was a chance that they could be in mostly bad. But there's so many of them and they all suck. These guys have a couple of appearances. Regi and Gen 3 OU occasionally. And like that's it for OU timing. Regieleki I guess was banned, but like not really. It's tough. If I'm telling you, if it was just the original 3 Regis, I would have put this in mostly bad. And it would have been above the birds. But yo, I'm sorry, gang. Sky's buns. You forgot to put Regigigas in. Whoa. Please don't give me PTSD right now of Regigigas. That shit really cooked me. I do gotta say though, shouts to my guy Noobish Trainer Joe in the chat. Regigigas is #1 soldier. Regigigas gets a lot of good PR from my boy Noobish. It pains me to do this in front of you, Noobish, because I know you don't deserve to see Regigigas put in that tier. You're my dog. But this shit, ooh, bruh, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, I'm sorry. It's tough. Alright, next up, bruh. We got King Von and King Von Et. Bruh. These were special. These were so special, bro. Man, these two were so fucking good. These two were so goddamn good for so long. Then they got Mega Forms, and even those were shiced. Oh, man. I gotta put these in top tier at the very least. But they could even be in goated. Because Latios in Gen 5, I wasn't even leaving without a Latios. King Vonette instead of Queen Von is frying me. Yeah, I definitely got like an IQ of 12. Why didn't I? Nah, I definitely got an IQ of 12. We gotta put this shit in top tier. Let me think. Latias and Latios. Damn. And Latios is still good in Gen 9. I have lost to Latias in Gen 9. With the Calm Mind stored power. Or not, Draining Kiss, stored power, Terra Fairy, Weakness Policy. That shit's cheap as fuck. There was even an era in Gen 5 where people would bring both of these on one team with a Magnezone in the back. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, haters. These shits gotta go in goated. I don't give a fuck. These two won me tournaments too many times. Latios won me Smogon Tour. I brought this shit every fucking week. Nah, there's no shot. There's no shot that I can put these lower than goated. Latios is actually that guy. I have never had a Latios and gone, damn, why the fuck did I bring Latios? Even if the matchup is bad, even if they got Pursuit, Latios is doing something. It doesn't matter. Nah, Latios was special. And shouts to Latias, of course, too. But Latias was more so improved upon when the Mega came out, at least in newer gens. But I had a Gen 5 team with Latias. My first team I got #1 with had a Latias. Generation 6, can't go wrong with the old Colbert Latias. Gen 7, Latias doesn't exist. So, except for Mega. Mega Latias is huge in Gen 7. But regular Latios had its time in Gen 7. Gen 8 came around and you don't see either of these really. You see the very occasional Latios in Gen 8, but that shit's not good. And then Gen 9 Latios came back. Blender be like, sorry haters, when no one has ever hated on these two ever in sound mind. My bad. I'm just such a high ranking official on the Latios brigade that I had to silence any hypothetical haters before going forward. You understand? Like, I just got too defensive over how great of a Pokemon this is. Also, if y'all are watching, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you subscribe. I'm only like 50 subscribers away from hitting 151K. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I know a lot of you be watching, you don't be subscribed. And we need this video at 500 likes, so make sure you like. Alright? Let's keep it pushing. These gotta go in goated, though. They're just too clutch. You're already at 151K? Am I? I wasn't this morning. I just said I was 50 away. Maybe I got botted. Anyway, shout out to Latios. Shout out to Latias as well. These Pokemon are never gonna be, like, bad. If these Pokemon ever go below UU... Oh, I am at 151K. Shouts to you, gang, for letting me know. Hell yeah. Friendly reminder that these guys were so strong that they got their signature item banned for a while. That's another thing. That item is so cracked. That item is so cracked. And then Soldu got nerfed, right? It's now 1.2. 1.5 was dirty. When is the AG video? Soon come. Soon come. Shout out to Malevolent Sponge. Tough username. But yeah, these These are gonna be the first 2 mons in Goated. All right. Next up, we have quite possibly the most aura that a trio could have. Like, let's be real. These 3 pull up to the function, it's fucking over with. It's over with. Kyogre was like the agreed upon greatest mon ever for multiple generations. The gold standard of power was a Kyogre water spout. Right? That was like the gold standard for strength for a long time. Then these shits got their special forms, which were somehow even a bonus upon them, which is like, yo, what the fuck? Primal Groudon and Primal Ogre were somehow even more of a boss up than the OG forms. God damn, these guys are tough. Chat saying these guys deserve their own tier? Nah, deadass. They might need their own tier. Ray got banned. Raymond got banned, bro. Shout out to Sailor for 17 months. Been here since the Doppel sold in their Ultra Mario live video. Nah, you the GOAT. That's one of the best videos ever. Shout out to BKC. Shout out to CBB. I gotta do a video with Moet soon. Joe just told me he did a VGC video with Moet and Mace, and that shit was fun. Oh, let me ask the chat while I'm here. I heard from Joey that there's like a new regulation tonight, or like a season reset for VGC. Are we getting anything new? Or it's just a ladder reset? Does anyone know? Or we don't know? Let me know. That's a tongue twister. Shout out to the Scooby Shuffle. Kyogre Rain Team or Groudon Sun Team? Kyogre all the time, bro. When Primal Dawn released, I would run both of them. But you literally could not even run a Gen... I mean, it was Gen 6 and also Gen... When Primal Groudon was around, you literally could not use a Ubers team without Primal Groudon. I believe Primal Groudon's usage in Ubers was 80%. You were literally doing yourself a disservice by not bringing a Primal Groudon. It walls everything. It's the best stealth rocker. It's strong as fuck. Fire ground typing, but immune to water. Like, yo, be for real. This shit's a hackmon. So yeah, you actually could not play Ubers without bringing Primal Groudon. If you ever decided to play those 2 gens without Primal Groudon, you were hoeing yourself for no reason. Primal Dawn had Kyogre flipping burgers. It had some of y'all flipping burgers, but you guys know that I was bringing that max attack Earthquake Kyogre to snipe Groudons for the 2-hit KO. I showed you guys that replay like 5 times at this point. But yes, max attack Kyogre Primal. It has a 150 base attack. What is Kyogre doing with all that? That shit was too nasty. Not to mention Groudon counterpart. Primal had 150 attack. I was in this bitch running Fire Blast stab. Over with. I remember Xerneas getting 1-hit KO'd by my max special attack Fire Blast from Primal Dawn. Just to give you an idea of this shit's power. Yeah, it was against Stall. My opponent only brought Stall, so I knew he was going to bring Stall. I brought Earthquake, Waterfall, Ice Beam, Thunder, Kyogre, Primal. They switched into Primal Groudon turn 1. I Earthquaked the switch. I did 50%. Chansey came in later. Waterfall came out from my... I had Rain up. Waterfall, 70%. Zygarde came in. Ice Beam. Game was done. Shit was just over. No chance. Anyways, these guys are going here. Potentially another tier for these, because these are just so game-breaking and so influential all the time that it's hard to put these on the same level as these 2. So maybe I'll make another tier. Let me finish going through the mons first, but I could see these 3 getting their own, because, bruh, the work these 3 were putting in. Also, Raymond Quaza ended up getting banned, which is disgusting, right? Like, Raymond Quaza changed the whole game forever when he got megas. When he got a mega. Although, these 3 are kind of... Like, they were already busted, but then their forms came out, and those were even more busted. Yo, I pulled up at the right time. Shouts to the Goat Evil Milkshake. What's good, homie? You know we're in here being scientific. Monsieur Quaza. I like that. But yeah, if anything, I would put these 3... You're right. These could probably have their own... They could probably have their own tier. Because this shit got banned from Ubers. It's too shiced. And Specs Ogre was the gold standard of the strongest mon ever for the longest time. Damn. Also, something that y'all are forgetting. Rayquaza showed up in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. As a fight. A boss fight. Is that not the peak of aura? Y'all be forgetting. And I know everybody was shitting bricks as a kid when they saw Rayquaza pull up on screen. And you were like, no way I gotta fight Rayquaza. Exactly. That alone carries Rayquaza to a whole nother threshold of being dope. That shit was so tough. It's over. It's over. We gotta add a tier. Oh. Fuck. What color was this originally? Red? I gotta... Oops. I gotta add a new tier. Add a row above. New. I'll make that shit blue. Gods. Perfect. Sometimes it's just that simple. Sometimes it's just that simple. Shout out to my guy Styles X2 in the chat. What's good, homie? Show some love, guys. These are the best. These are the best of the best. Lake Trio put fries in my bag a few hours ago. Please don't say that, bro. Please don't say that. Nah, that's... Damn. That was sad. You know, you're right. I actually just got a chicken sandwich yesterday, and I swear I saw Mesprit. I swear I saw Mesprit behind the window taking my card. Damn. Okay, so all of these shits peaked in their first generation, which is a really bad sign. We talked about it before when we were talking about Mew and Mewtwo, but the Psychic type is just so overly competitive. Uxie just dropped off my DoorDash. No. No. Please, bro, be easy on these guys. Uxie just dropped off my DoorDash is so diabolical. A Zelf lead rocks into offing itself. Only thing I remember, not dead ass. If their most famous rock star, the most famous member of their boy band was blowing himself up, that's a very bad look. Okay, realistically, a Zelf was really good in Gen 4. I used to run Choice Scarf and Choice Band quite a few times as well. A Zelf was not only a lead in Gen 4. Choice sets were very good. I used to run Adamant Scarf in OU in Gen 4. It was really good. The other two, Uxie was good. Mesprit was never that guy. Mesprit's good in draft, but, I mean, it's not really relevant to the greater singles picture. I'm sure all three of these are pretty good in draft because they all have a great move pool. Like, they all learn Stealth Rock, which is cool. A Zelf was always my favorite because the fastest and the most offensive, but Uxie aged the best, I think. You know, man, Uxie was good in low tiers, though. I used to run Uxie in Gen 7 RU with Stealth Rock, Yawn, U-Turn. Very effective. And then Mesprit I used to run in NU. So these guys are good at shit tiers. Like, they're, you know, it's tough overall. Huh. Yeah, bro. I'm really thinking about it right now. And none of these guys were ever on. You know what I mean? They were all kind of on in Gen 4, but they were never on. You know what I mean? This gotta be mostly bad. I'm putting them above these three. Why? Because of my own personal bias. I will never... Yo, this is sad. This actually makes me sad, bro. A Zelf used to really be kind of okay in Gen 4. And even Gen 5 UU, a Zelf wasn't bad. I remember running a mixed set with Psychic, Fire Blast, Boom. But man, I'm really trying my best to justify these three. But they're buns. They're really buns. I always think about these Pokemon from a tournament perspective. Them shits never pulled up to any tournament games. Sadly. Galarian birds are so heat. Get these door dashers to the right. Nah. Don't be sad they fell off. Be glad they were once on. But that's the thing. They were barely on. Like I should be getting a check from these three. I should be getting part of their DoorDash paycheck for shilling them like this. Blunder bumped them up because he forgot to tip. Nah, dead ass. Uxie dropped off my shit. I didn't even say thank you. I said, give me that shit. I said, I used to have your album. Damn, homie. In high school, you was a man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? Nah, shit is tough. We're putting these in mostly bad. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Uxie Eats and Mesprit Airlines are... Mesprit Airlines is probably top 5 slander I've ever heard in my life. And Uxie Eats? Nah, we gotta... we gotta put you in prison for that. That's next level. Uxie Eats? Nah, that's pride. Alright, next up we got some ballers. Next up we got some killers. I didn't know that Arceus was part of their gang. He's their boss? I mean, I know they're all from the same gen. I just didn't know that Arceus was part of their squad like that. But okay. Is he part of their gang? Is he officially part of their gang? I know he's their boss, but is he officially, you know? Okay. If he's officially part of the squad, then I'll count it. He invented them? Oh, I didn't know he was their dad for real. Blunder learn lore challenge? Deadass. I don't know any of the lore, sorry. There's some lore that you guys put me onto. Like you guys told me Ogerpon assassinated Monkey Dory, Okidogi, and Fez. Like you guys told me Ogerpon got jumped by these 3, and then Ogerpon spun back and killed them, right? That's a shy story. I didn't know that was the lore. That's tough ass lore. But I remember you guys telling me in a past stream that Ogerpon pulled up and literally killed these 3, which is so funny. Ogerpon gangsta. Watch out. Okay. This is all of them are goated. Over time, these 3, I mean, yeah, the bot actually Dialga and Palkia took a hit over time. Right? They got different forms and shit, but we don't really see them like that. Giratina never fell off because its typing is so good. Especially on the, what's it called? Which one is the one with Levitate? Origin or Altered? Which is the 120 attack stat ones? Is that Origin? Okay, yeah. Origin is extremely beast. Giratina O is always going to be a boss. That shit is impossible for that shit to fall off. Arceus and Giratina do a lot of heavy lifting for these 2. I'm not going to hold you. I might have to put them in top tier. Because when have we seen Dialga in the last fucking 10 years? You know what I mean? Let me go look up right now. Let me go look something up. Let's data check this. Smogon Gen 6 Uber's viability rankings. We're gonna fact check. We're gonna fact check everybody here. Okay, Dialga was very high A rank, and so was Palkia in Gen 6. So they passed the test for Gen 6. Let's see what was going on in Gen 7. I actually didn't know that they were that good in Gen 6. But facts are facts. Dialga is B+ rank in Gen 7, which is still very valid. And Palkia is C+ rank. So they took a decent hit. Not the end of the world, though. Just a regular hit. In Gen 8, Dialga is solidly C rank, and Palkia is A- rank. So that's still valid. That's still pretty valid. Palkia and Dialga were dawns of Gen 4 and 5, though. Blunder got these guys taking a background check. Hey, we gotta be legit out here, alright? We gotta be legit. And if that means that I gotta take the background check, I'm taking the background check. It has to be done. Dialga's the #1 Gen 4 mon, I'm sure. You might be right. I never played Gen 4 Ubers like that. I only watched the occasional Gen 4 Ubers battle, like from Shofu. Yeah, you're right. Here's the S rank list. Darkrai, Dialga, Giratina, O, Kyogre, Palkia. That's the Gen 4 Ubers. That's what I'm saying. When these 3 pulled up, it was over with. Wait, is Arceus banned from Ubers in Gen 4? It is, right? So is that technically the first banned Ubers? I guess there's no AG, so it's not the same as like... How did they decide that Arceus was broken? How did they decide that? I mean, I guess they played and figured out that the shit was too polarizing, but... Fair. I guess maybe it's like a combination of things. Because without team preview either, how do you even know what Arceus is in the back? They couldn't code Arceus into the sim? They literally couldn't handle the 6x120 back then? Dude, Arceus' stats are gross. The 120 across the board? Have some goddamn shame. That shit's so cheap. I hate that new fans slander Heatran so much. Point those new fans out to me, alright? I'll get them dealt with. Nobody hates on Heatran in front of me. Nobody. Goatmon. Alright, anyways. We're gonna put these... We can probably put these in all of them goated. I'm not gonna lie. First off, we could probably put these in all of them goated. I don't want to put these in top tier. These shits are actually beast. Even if Dialga and Palkia had a off gen once or twice, too good. Too good. Heatran has never been bad. Decent at worst, but never bad. Agreed. Agreed. Heatran has never been bad. Every single generation up until Gen 9, where Heatran had its little stint in UU before now going to OU, remember that? Bruh. Fire Steel with Flash Fire, one of the best typings of all time. Shout out to Radical, gifting a sub in Twitch. Shout out to the Twitch fam watching. You know I'll be hitting the double stream. Radical gifting the 5 on Twitch. Thank you so much, gang. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. No, I appreciate you, gang. Shouts to all the Twitch fam watching. Go ahead, use your Twitch Prime on me, and then use it to join the agency server. I need to see y'all in there. Only the TikTok new gens hate on my beloved Magma Toad. The TikTok new gens, huh? Heatran on a fat upswing, calling 15% usage within 3 months. Let me know if my parlay hit. Yo, your parlay's not hitting, G. Let me take you off Poly Market before you go broke. Blunder the noobs just think Heatran looks ugly. Only absolute fools care about Heatran's supposed looks, alright? Also, Heatran looks badass. Calling Heatran ugly is a sign of low IQ, but whatever, man. All Heatran haters, go fuck yourself. Shout out to Rulo for the 15 months. Heatran loses to the Morning Sun Struggle Bug QD Volk set, though. Honestly, Heatran loses to any Morning Sun Volk if it has a coverage move that is anything besides a fire move. Assuming it doesn't have taunt. But if your Heatran doesn't have taunt, it's going to lose to Morning Sun Volk with QD. Because you're going to get outstalled by your Magma Storms. Oh my god, Rulo with the 20 gifted. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let me see the craws in the chat and the W's. No, what a fucking legend. Huge shots to Rulo. Thank you, gang. Like I keep saying to y'all, if you got gifted a membership or you membered up, please do join the agency server. Connect your accounts. I need to see all the Mr. Craws in the chat right now. All of them. Nah, you the GOAT. Thank you so much, Rulo. Appreciate you, gang. Make sure you join the server if you haven't already. Heatran lost Roar. Heatran did lose Roar. This might as well be the Heatran video, because we've talked more about Heatran who's not on here than the other Pokemon on here. And you know what that means? That's called influence. That's called staying power. Anybody who hates on Heatran is automatically exposing themselves as a Giga Noob. Wanted to commemorate this moment, and yeah, I'm on the server. Nah, shouts to you, gang. Thank you so much. Heatran glazed so good I had to donate $5. Shout out to Sickle Nickel. I'm telling you, bro. Mega Heatran, hopefully it gets a good ability. We gotta pray. A couple months ago, I would have told you guys, don't worry. Of course they're gonna give Heatran a good ability. But after seeing the abilities they gave the Megas in Champs, we don't know for sure if we can just confirm that it's gonna have a good ability. Because there's some shit abilities out there, bro. Earth Eater's not bad, though. I'd be happy with Earth Eater. I wouldn't mind even Filter, because then you can take water moves and fighting moves. You're still probably gonna die to Earthquake, but... And if it keeps Flash Fire, that's potentially the best thing that we could ask for. I don't like it when Megas keep their ability, but Flash Fire is so damn good on that shit. Anyway, shouts to Heatran. I'm sure we'll come back to talking about Heatran in the next 4 minutes. Alright, Darkrai and Cress. Well, Rai was a god in Gen 5. Right? Rai is one of the best Ubers Pokemon as well. Rai is top 10 in Gen 5 Ubers. It's top like 3 in Gen 4 Ubers. In Generation 6 Ubers, things got a little different. Because, what's it called? Yveltal started spinning the block. And that was a little hard for Darkrai to keep up that competition. But Darkrai is still very good in Gen 6 Ubers. That speed stat is too nasty. Let's also not forget about the speed stat. Let's not forget about Darkrai's sleep move, Dark Void, illegal move for a minute. Shouts to Evil Milkshake with the 10 gifted. Oh nah, we got the sub train going on. We hitting this 800 goal. Let me see the choo-choo blunder emoji in the chat. All right, we need another 5 gifted. We need to hit this 800. Shouts to all the generous agents out there. Thank you, goats. Shout out to Rulo. Shout out to Evil Milkshake. Shout out my guy Mikro who dropped the 10. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Radical on Twitch. Y'all goats. Where's Manaphy and Phione? Yo. Huh, I guess I didn't think about those two. Should I add those two? Bro, come on. We know Phione ain't like that. No one has ever used a Phione in a game of Pokemon, bro. Unless it's Ranbats, aka you're mandated. Shout out Victory Star 88 with the 5. We on the come up, gang. We on the come up. Manaphy was extremely good in the first 2 generations. It got banned to Ubers for a reason. It's pronounced Phione. I don't know. Is it Fione? I'll be calling that shit Phione. I'll be pronouncing shit wrong. On accident, though. Seriously. I just assume it's Phione. That shit's Fione, whatever. I didn't know you guys were experts on that. Anyways, Manaphy's a god. Gen 6 Manaphy, beast. Gen 7 Manaphy and Rain, damn near broken. Manaphy doesn't exist in Gen 8. Gen 9 Manaphy is kind of underexplored. Arceus also pronounced with a K. Is that true? I have heard folks say Arceus, but I don't know. I always thought it could be either one. Steve Jobs couldn't even say Phione. What is it? Phione? Fuck all y'all. I'm calling it Phione. My Phione 15 Pro Max. It is. Also, why Silvally is RKS system. Okay, that makes sense. Next stream. Ranking Ubers by their names. I'm not trying to see any more McDonald's workers added above Bob and his family. Noobish came out the cut to say, bro, I respect your list, but this shit is some ass, alright? You saying I'm giving jobbers a pass? You're saying I'm giving jobbers a pass. Those are fighting words, Noobish. Those are fighting words for real. Don't listen to the Arceus losers. Okay. Okay, Noobish. Don't worry, Noobish. I'm sure some of the remaining Pokemon will join these guys. Don't even trip. Okay. Darkrai and Cresselia. Yeah, Darkrai is carrying the fuck out of these guys. Cress was not even like that in OU for a minute. Cress gets no usage in Gen 5. Cress is now getting usage in both Gen 6 and Gen 7 as like a T-Wave Lunar Dance type of troll. And Cress is always kind of valid. I'm hard pressed to say that Cress is top tier by any metric, but Cress is definitely getting more runs than the rest of these guys. And Darkrai is so good that I'm gonna put these in top tier. If we're doing an average weighted value of these two Pokemon, then they're clearly in top tier. Cress itself got nerfed from VGC. I remember you guys telling me about this. What was Cress doing in VGC that was so awful? It was just too fat? You couldn't take it down? What was it set in VGC that had this shit so crazy it had to get nerfed? Oh, Trick Room? Cress is a demon in singles, though. It's good in Gen 7 now. Agreed. Sky Penguin, who's a Gen 7 OU player, he created like different Cresselia builds in, I want to say, 2022. And yeah, retroactively, Cress became a huge threat in Gen 7, which is pretty dope, because when I played Gen 7 as a current gen, nobody's spending their time using Cress. Where's CTC gone? I might do a vid with CTC later tonight. He said, let's record something. He's been so busy, though. CTC's been ungodly busy. But hopefully, me and the GOAT can get a video in for you guys tonight. Either a live, or we'll discuss Volk, or we'll do something interesting, though. Don't sleep. But yeah, these guys are going in top tier. CTC should replace his goons with Grok. That's what I'm saying. CTC is too busy always micromanaging the goons. Whole time he need to tell Claude to handle that. Alright, he need to get back on the ladder with me. The hell is this guy doing, bruh? Takes up all his times commanding the goons all day. Alright. Oh no. To say CTC's words, micromanaging the goons. That's what he said. He said he's micromanaging goons, and that's why he's just not able to pull up the way he used to be. Was I tripping, or did I see CTC on China's World Cup lineup? You're not tripping. CTC has elected to play for the motherland this year for World Cup. He's shiced. He's shiced. He's about to take China to greatness. I got some friends on Team China, but now that CTC is playing on China and micromanaging those goons, it's over with. They might go crazy. They might go crazy with the GOAT. Anyways, enough CTC glaze. Alright, I don't get paid enough for this. These four. Now, it's tough that this is a quartet. Because Cobalion and Virizion, yo, PU! Gang, what are they doing? What are they even about? Virizion was on a grand total of 1 time. The second it got released. Year? 2011. 2012. Cobalion's kind of shiced in UU. In fact, I even had a Cobalion team in Gen 6 OU. Because folks kept spamming Weavile for a long time. And so Cobalion would kind of check it. Except not really, because low kick still 2-hit KOs max defense Cobalion. I used to get good success running Swords Dance Stone Edge Cobalion in Gen 5 UU though. Let's all collectively acknowledge that Tarak was PU. That was one of the saddest things that's ever happened in the entire world. I'm so serious. One time I failed a final in university. That shit didn't make me as sad as seeing Tarak and PU. Nah, I did. I'm capping. That shit did make me sad. But the point is, I was trying to make a shiest analogy. The point is, bruh, Tarak, we used to talk about banning Tarak in Gen 5. That's how crazy he was. And then we had to see him in PU. We had to see Tarak lose to a Diplin. I saw that shit live with my own 2 eyes. Ooh, chills. I mean, Tarak has head smash though. Cobalion needs Behemoth Blade? You're spitting. You're spitting. Tarakion lost to 3 Regis? Stop. Stop. We're going too far. We're going too far with this hate. Okay, so, if we're being realistic, Virizion sucks. That's an RU staple. I don't know what tier Virizion is in anymore. If I had to guess, I would say it's in, like, NU, but if it was an RU, I wouldn't be that surprised. Tarakion in PU is like Dwight Howard going to China. Yo, I forgot about that arc. Don't sleep on that double kick Tarakion. Nah, deadass. Basically what you're saying is that Tarakion's best placement in recent years was on a dude who was cheating. Double kick Tarak was evil work though. You know about beat up Tarak in doubles? You know, that was the first double strategy I ever saw. It was Whimsicott beat up next to Tarakion in Gen 5. And then Tarak would get +5 and then Rock Slide and kill everybody. I always thought that was hilarious. Virizion is ZU in Gen 9? Son. Son. Damn. Damn. Yo, Virizion not bad in Gen 7 though with that Z move. ZU though? Son. Alright, Keldeo though. Let's just not even discuss it. Keldeo in Gen 5? I think BKC still wants to ban Keldeo from Gen 5. That should give you some sort of understanding of this shit's power level. Gen 6 Keldeo? I was known as the guy who would bring Keldeo to every single Gen 6 tournament battle. I remember I did a Smogon Premier League. I ended 7 wins, 4 losses. You know how many times I brought Keldeo in 11 tournament games? 8 times. 8 times I brought that shit. How could I not? Water fighting, incredible offensive coverage, but also an amazing defensive typing. Resist dark, shit like that. Resist fire, resist water, resist ice. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Keldeo only fell off in Gen 7 for a little bit, but now Keldeo's back, and it's actually good in Gen 7. In Gen 8, Keldeo does not get usage. but I have seen it occasionally in a tournament game where it has been decent. In Gen 7, we see Calm Mind, Water EMZ, Sub Calm Mind more often than not. Although Sub CM Lefties does get the occasional pick. Gen 8, I saw it only once, Sub CM Lefties. It beats Pex 1v1 because you burn, which is pretty dope. But Keldeo puts these guys on like crazy. Also, Gen 9, CTC reinvented Keldeo, made that shit shiest again, even though these three are so bad in Gen 9. That's so sad, man. Tarak and Keldeo started at the same level, both being dawns of the format. And then, fast forward to Gen 9, Keldeo puts up some numbers in OU. Tarak goes to PU? Tarak on the Shanghai Sharks? It ain't right. It ain't right, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't right. Tarak falloff has to be studied. Put these bozos under Uxie Eats now. Yo, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. This is carried by 2 bosses. Dude, Keldeo's so shiced. And Tarak is valid in Gen 6. It's not great, but it's like valid. You know what? Let me find out for real where they ranked Tarak in Gen 6. I've only brought a Tarak one time in Gen 6 because that's just not that crazy. But I need to see for sure. Smogon or SOU viability rankings. Let me check this out. Where the hell they got Tarak? Tarak is C+. They got Tarak as the 76th best Pokemon in C. Yo, and you want to know who's right under Tarak? Nah, this is nasty, bro. This is nasty. I might have to step in and stop them, bro. Yo, dude, this is for Gen 6, by the way. Look who's right below Tarak. Nah, bruh. Bruh, be for real, bruh. His ass is not on the same level as Tarak. Yes, this could be a discussion of piss versus shit, but this is like the shittiest shit. Nah, that pained me. That pained me to see. What the fuck is Cobalion doing right under my boy? Nah, get out of here. Nah, get out of here. That shit made me mad. Nah, get out of here, bruh. They're saying that's the McDonald's janitor and the assistant janitor. Nah. Dude, no way. No way, Cobalion. No, dude, they're glazing. That shit is not... Nah, fuck out of here. Alright, Terrakion is not even ranked in Gen 7. Is Tarak a 1 Gen wonder? Alright, bro. Dude, these guys are all pretty bad except for Keldeo, who was great for 2 gens, like God status, then regular okay for another 2, and then mid now. Bro, I gotta be honest, these guys gotta go here. I thought that these would be so much higher up than they would be. But man, why no Cobalion appreciation? My bad, I know I sound like I hate Cobalion. It's good in low tiers. But him and Virizion were never that on. All Cobalion needs is body press to be decent. Doesn't it get body press? Am I wrong? Reality is often disappointing. That was well said, Shakespeare. Hey, Blunder, penny for your thoughts on Keldeo keeping his new moves like Ice Beam and Earth Power. I don't see the penny, though. Nah, I'm playing. If Keldeo keeps Ice Beam and Earth Power, that shit's going to be a complete beast. Keldeo not having Ice Beam was always intentional. Because they knew that if they gave Keldeo Ice Beam, it would get banned immediately. There's no universe where Keldeo would ever be balanced with Ice Beam. So if it keeps the ZA moveset and keeps Ice Beam, we don't even need to keep Earth Power. It would be cool to keep Earth Power, sure. But we just need to keep Ice Beam. Vacuum Wave was already a pretty nice buff in Gen 9. That much is true. Keldeo can still click Icy Wind, which is nice. That it at least has a coverage to go Ice. Because you can't do Hidden Power Ice anymore. But yeah, these guys are going to be carried by one boss. I really thought that I was going to put these in top tier, but yo, they didn't age as well as I thought they'd be. And they've been here for 5 generations in a row. These guys never got Dexited. These guys always made the cut and still were ass. Put them in mostly bad, they suck ass. No. Your bias is showing. If you didn't play when these guys were on, you wouldn't understand just how good these are. And Keldeo alone carries these guys past mostly bad. Putting Keldeo in the same tier as these 6 pieces of garbage is insane. It'll never happen. I'm gonna be honest, this shit's going at the top. Because Articuno fucking sucks. Moltres is only good in 1 gen. Zap is doing all the carrying. So I'm putting these guys above. This was a hard one to rank. I'm not even gonna lie. Nah, I'm glazing? No. I was just there for those ancient times. Zap was never as good as Keldeo and Tarak were in their respective gens. Zap was always a good high-tier Pokemon. Alright, I'm done arguing with the chat because I'm better than all of you, so we're keeping it here. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, we have the 4 Genies that are lined up. Pretty cool. Yo. Enamorus is the only one that is just kind of regular good. Thund fell off after Generation 6, but was fairly good. These guys are like goated. I'm not gonna hold you. Because Torn is Jesus with Torn T. Thund was broken at one point. Landorus is Jesus, both forms. Enam is just whatever. But Enam, we don't even really count Enam because Enam just dropped. So Enam is like... Enam isn't even part of this gang. You know what I mean? These three were like Miami Heat back when it was Bosch, Wade, and Braun. And now Enamorus wants to pull up talking about, yo, remember me, guys? Remember when we all won that ring? You are not with them shooting in the gym. You did not win that ring, Enamorus. So it's something for us to think about. Enam is a good mon though. The regular one. The turtle form is not that great. Stream temperature dropped 10 degrees once these 4 pulled up. Enam is good with contrary Terra Blast though. Hand on shoulder emoji. Who's gonna tell him what happened to contrary Terra Blast? Enamorus is Chalmers. Enam Mario Chalmers. Enough is enough. Bring back Defog Toxic Torn T. Hell no. Shout out Ariel772. Do not bring that back. Toxic Torn T. Oh man, I hated. But the worst will always be Knock U-Turn Defog Hurricane. That bot would do all the work you ever needed. And that should live forever too. There was one good thing about Tornadus T. Even though it was one of the most insufferable Pokemon to run into. You know what Torn T used to always do? It used to fuck up Kartana. And fuck Kartana. Why isn't Ultra Beasts on this? Are they not considered to be like a gang? Are they all their own guy? Why aren't the UBs on here? Terra Flying Acromola over Torn T. They're not legendaries? Oh. They should be legendaries. They're aliens? I think we had this conversation before. When I probably asked this at some point. That's whack though. UBs should be... UBs should definitely be in legendary status. If these 4... whatever. Who am I to decide what's correct? To save you the disappointment? Yo, it would have been hard to rank those, putting up Guzzlord and shit. Okay, I'm putting these in goated. I'm not even gonna lie. Because Enam has only been here for 1 gen. But the other 3... Yo, don't even get me started, bro. Bouses. The weakest one is probably Thund. Because Thund stopped being good after Gen 6. But even Thund T is valid in Generation 7. But Thund is kind of weighing them down a lot. If I'm being serious. It's the first 2 that are getting all the hype. Because they defined OU for a while. Not in Gods. These guys can't be in Gods. Some of them fell off. Gods means you ain't never fell off. And you were a cut above the rest. Even here, I might put these in top tier. Because Thund and Enam fell off. But the other 2 are so OP. And they define the game. Especially Torn. Especially Torn. Torn Eye is balls. Torn Eye is balls. He's only good in Gen 5. But Torn T though. Torn T is God. Lando a god? Lando's for sure a god, but Lando, if it was by itself, or it was only with Torn, then we could have a discussion. But let's just count these as the Therian forms too, because we play with the Therian forms to majority using these mons. To be honest, only half of these guys are really on, so I have to honestly put these in top tier. It is what it is. It is what it is. Even if these three genies were putting up amazing numbers, I'm telling you, man. I know that they were moving like the Miami Heat back then. And Lando was Braun, but shit changed over time. If I made this list in 2018, we would have cooked. Throwing that shit right up there in gods. But it's going to have to be top tier. I don't know if they can ever save Thundurus. I think Thundurus might take these guys' average weighting down for the rest of time. Legendary Flacian, dead ass. Legends got too strong. Bro, once they started making like Zacian and all that, shit kind of hit the fan. Like they started doing too much with legendaries. What is Zacian doing with all of that stats, bro? They started doing way too much. Thundurus is the fat friend. What? It's fucked up. We don't body shame. Please mention them being the GOAT in VGC. Okay. They're the GOAT in VGC. I didn't really... I wasn't really tapped in with VGC around that time. But I believe you. Okay. These three. Too bad there's no Kyurem Black and Kyurem White listed. Dude, I'm probably the biggest shill ever for Zekrom and Reshiram. I think these mons are absolutely incredible, but they don't get usage like that. Zekrom and Reshiram took some hits over time as well. They're not really used, which is sad. Like, I think Reshiram is not good in Gen 5 at all. Let me look up Reshiram in Gen 5. Yeah, Reshiram is at the lowest of low tier. Yo, I'm gonna show you right now. This is Gen 5 Ubers. Yo, this is disgusting. I'm gonna show you the tier that... Let me show you who Reshiram is with and who is above Reshiram. This is going to flashbang some of you, so please be careful with what you're about to see when you see who is ranked above Reshiram in Gen 5 Ubers. Bitch, I know that doesn't say Ludicolo. I know that doesn't say Ludicolo, bruh. I told you I had to give a real trigger warning. This is crazy. What's Kyurem B doing down here too? Shit is that ass? It's because the speed is so bad. 90 speed is shit in Ubers. Everyone's fast as fuck. Palkia changed the game when it pulled up at base 100 speed. Got Darkrai at 125. Shit ain't easy, bruh. Alright, if we go to XY Ubers, Zekrom is low A rank. I remember Zek being shiced. Reshiram, oh my god. Let me show you what Reshiram is doing in Gen 6. In Gen 6 Ubers, alright? Another trigger warning, ladies and gentlemen, because I really don't want to expose y'all to this with no warning. Bro, what the fuck? How is Reshiram in between Gastro and Tentacruel and Ditto and Fortress and... Like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck? What have they done? Yeah, so even though I love... You know, Reshiram is my favorite Ubers Pokemon. It's like top 5 Pokemon for me. Reshiram is the reason I got Pokemon Black. Because I wanted Reshiram. Bruh. The fuck out of here, bruh. This is depressing. Reshiram did get an agency theme song this year. Dude, the agency is the only people who put Reshiram on in the last 10 years. So basically what I'm trying to tell y'all is Reshiram has been bad since inception, which is ridiculous. Alright, we have Kyurem. Kyurem and its forms are shiced. It ain't easy, bruv. It ain't easy. Reshu Rampage is my username on Smogon Kratos 14. Wait, I remember you, gang. We definitely played some friendlies on Smogon Tour back in the day when I used to play a lot. What up, gang? Thank you for turning into the stream. I definitely remember your name, bro. I always remember the folks I used to play friendlies with. Having Beartick and Reshiram in the same list is some heinous shit. Hey, yo, don't sleep on Big Beartick, alright? Shit got a good speed with that Swift Swim. Beartick is better than him. That ass, I'd probably use a Beartick before I use Reshiram and O-Gen OU. Kyurem, bro, Kyurem had a voter fraud done against it. You know how shice that is? You know how much of a beast you have to be to have folks cheat and ban you? That's crazy. That's so much aura. They tried to keep him down and they failed. I mean, they succeeded for a bit, but then they got found out. But you know what I mean? Any mon that creates voter fraud, yo, his diamonds are too shining. Ah, man, Kyurem. Kyurem is doing a lot for these guys. Yeah, these guys got to go and carried by one boss. I'll put these shitters like right here. Kyurem is holding these two assholes on its back. Even if these two are Ubers and Kyurem's not, these two get negative usage. Meanwhile, Kyurem's the GOAT. I mean, Kyurem's not even good in Gen 5. The regular one. Kyurem Black's good as fuck in Gen 5. And then Kyurem Black's good in Gen 6 as well. And it's a beast in Gen 7. You know what? We'll just assume this Kyurem is all of them bitches. Isn't Kyurem good? Isn't Zekrom good in Gen 9? It is pretty good. It is pretty good with DD Bolt Strike, Focus Sash. But Zekrom was not doing nothing up until then. We could maybe put them in top tier, but I feel like that's a bit disingenuous. I'm not gonna lie. Or I can put them at the top. But Reshiram really is that terrible that he's weighing them down. And I can't give these guys preferential treatment. We could put it like here. We could put it like here maybe, if you want. Reshiram really is that terrible. And Kyurem is carried by the fact that it has 3 pretty nice forms. I'll put them here. You know what? You know what? We'll put them here and we'll come back and we'll decide later. But this might be a lot of Kyurem glaze. But Zekrom was really, like, decent for a while. And even if that shit got DD Bolt Strike not until later on, it's still valid. Reshiram gets half credit for Kyurem White. No, bruh. It's not called Kyurem Reshiram. Real ones remember when Blunder pulled up with the physical Reshiram? Oh my goodness. Next up, we have Gods 2.0. Yo. These 3? Bro. Bro. Nobody was prepared for the straight chokehold that these 3 would put on the generation. Yveltal had like 75% usage in Gen 7 Ubers, I think. Xerneas is Xerneas, bruh. What's there to say? Sky's busted as fuck. Xerneas is just on one, bruh. It's just on one. Everything revolved around Xerneas for the longest time. Xerneas is pretty fucking cool too. We go to Sun and Moon Ubers. And Xerneas was, I think, the best Mon by far after Primal Groudon. I think Primal Groudon number 1. Xerneas number 2. And then Yveltal probably top 5, top 7, something like that. Gen 8 Ranbats, Zern, opponent forfeit, name a better trio. What are they supposed to do, bruh? Xerneas be running one set and it's still broken. Geomancy is not real. Geomancy is Hackmon's territory. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. What was Ubers for for Gen 8 Ubers? What was Xerneas's? I think Xerneas was a little bit worse in Gen 8. Not like that much worse, but it was a little bit worse. I know Yveltal is the god of Gen 8 Ubers. Nobody's fucking with Yveltal in Gen 8 Ubers. He runs shit because of Calyrex. They weren't in Gen 9. They weren't in Gen 9. If they were in Gen 9, Xerneas would have been banned day 1 in Gen 9. Because Terra. Imagine Xerneas, but it changes its type. Yeah. No, buddy. Get that shit out of here. So yeah, Xerneas would have been AG the literal day it released, if it was allowed in Gen 9. So that would have given them probably a potential higher than these guys rating if they were in Gen 9, but they're not. Zygarde ain't all that. Nah, Zygarde, we're going to consider Zygarde to be Zygarde complete, in which case Zygarde is all that. And even then, Zygarde was banned from both Gen 7 and Gen 8. Shit's a beast. But yeah, these 3, there's levels to power. These 3 breached the normal level of power. They were too much. Way too good. Zygarde went from being hot ass to the glow up of the century. Wait, that's a fact, because Zygarde was around in Gen 6, and we basically looked at Zygarde like, yo, who is this guy? For the longest time in Gen 6, it was just like, why would I use this guy? Who is that guy? And then came Gen 7, where that brother started 1000 arrowing, glaring, subbing, coiling, dragon dancing. It was too much. It was too much. Nah, Zygarde is the definition of, back then they didn't want me. Now hot, they all on me. Literally the definition of that shit. There's actually a pretty funny game from CBB. I don't know what tournament. I could probably find it. And it's the only time I've ever seen somebody bring a Zygarde. It's the only time I've ever seen anybody bring a Zygarde. Let me see if I can find it. CBB likes to use garbage, though. He's like a garbage connoisseur. He always bring in mid. Damn, where is this shit? Where's CBB's special Zygarde team? Oh, man. Somebody else find that shit for me. Actually, no, I'm gonna find that shit. Hold on. I want to find this. Let's see. Can I find this? Maybe I can't find it, bro. Usually I'm able to find whatever replay I want, but I really don't even know who he played to whatever. The point is, CBB did win with a Zygarde, and it was Shiest. And the only reason he won is because his opponent switched in Slowbro to take a +1 Outrage. But the Slowbro was eject button. So the Slowbro came in to sponge the Outrage, and it did sponge the Outrage. It took 60%. But the dude was fucking eject button, so he forced himself out, and then proceeded to get swept by the Zygarde because his counter got forced out. Eject button, it can hurt you. Let this be a lesson. Don't use no skill items like eject button, because it will hurt you in your time of need. Literally, I don't use eject button in any serious game for that reason. That shit will hurt you. Eject button only works if you go to your eject button mon like immediately. I hate eject button except for Hatterene on Sun. There's literally no reason to use eject button, and I guess Cresselia on Sun. But other than that, don't use eject button. That shit's ass. Sorry I couldn't find the replay, by the way. I really wish I could have given that to you guys. Oh, let me zoom in. Okay. Next up, we have these. Bruh. Be for real. Bro. Even though Bulu kind of fell off, it don't matter. Because the other three are so fucking good and metagame defining for 2 metagames in a row. These guys ran shit for 2 metagames in a row. Bulu was amazing in Gen 7 OU. In Gen 8, he fell off a little bit, but barely. Like, barely fell off. Coco, OU God. Both generations. Lele, even better when Gen 8 came around. Lele is low-key broken in Gen 8 without Pursuit. Even with the terrain nerf, Lele is still so fucking good. And then we have Feeny. Incredible. Feeny, one of the only Ash Greninja checks ever back in Gen 7. Gen 8, Feeny's still good. Taunt, Calm Mind. You could do that. Defog, regular shit. Although, if I'm using Feeny in Gen 8, I'm usually going to go with Calm Mind with Magnezone support, so you can get rid of Ferrothorn, get those easy sweeps. Calm Mind Feeny in Gen 8's a classic, though. Very easy to win with. Water Fairy, and then you have that Misty Terrain, so you can't get status. Bruh. It's so fucking beautiful. Seeing Tapu Fini in action, when you have a Tapu Fini and you see your opponent with a Greninja and like a Charizard X and all this other shit, it'll just have you like, yeah, bitch, I own you. You're not doing shit with my Finis around. Fini's a perfect Pokemon. Literally a perfect Pokemon. And an 85 base speed as well? Come on, man. Come on. Fini is so goated. Coco changed the game forever for electric types. Up until Coco pulled up, we had Thundurus and we had like Jolteon as offensive electric types. We were broke as fuck. I mean, Thundurus was obviously very good, but Coco came in and changed the game forever for electric types. New gold standard of electric type attacker pulled up. I guess we had Raikou in Gen 2, but I'm talking about like Gen 5, Generation 6. Jolteon's like that? No, I fuck with Jolteon. One of my first teams I got high on the ladder in Gen 5 when I was a noob, it was a Jolteon Rain. We had Mega Manectric. What are you thinking? Yo, I brought Manectric to a tournament. I'm one of the few believers. That shit still ass. but it's like fun. Magnezone doesn't count as an electric type. That guy's a fire type. Bro is pulling up on steel types and clicking HP fire. He's not even a real electric type. He kind of be faking it. For Zoomers, just imagine the feeling when Pult dropped. Coco was our Pult. That is a amazing way of putting it. Shouts to Wayward in the chat. No, that's an amazing way to put it. Remember when leaks claimed Coco got some insanity coverage like Play Rough, Wild Charge? They were telling us that Coco was going to get Play Rough in close combat. I thought it was over. I thought Coco was about to be the greatest, like Thanos. But then they trolled. Same with, I thought Feeny was going to get Flip Turn. Of course, we all thought Lele was going to get Expanding Force. They trolled pretty good with that. When they had that fake leak where of like the data mine. And they were like, oh my god, these shit's all powered up. They didn't power up, gang. They capped. People were saying overheat Magnezone. That's what we need. When the Magnezone computer. Close combat Coco must look funny. That's what I'm saying. Coco don't even look like... Actually, Coco do... You know, it could do it. Physical Coco's a tough sell in Gen 7. You could use Z Wild Charge, which was awesome. It had Brave Bird, but you'd only see Brave Bird on Scarf sets. Brave Bird's not that legit. They couldn't give Bulu play... Them not giving Bulu Play Rough was honestly just stupid. I don't know why they didn't give it Play Rough. Bulu was... Especially because they totally replaced Bulu in Gen 8 when they created Rillaboom. I don't know why they left this shit out to dry. They should have given it Play Rough. That would have been awesome. I mean, it gets Stone Edge, which is kind of cool. But it already had Stone Edge in Gen 7. That wasn't like a new thing. But yeah, overall pretty disappointed that Bulu didn't get Play Rough. It needed Play Rough. It could even live without having Glide, because Horn Leech is an awesome move. But Bulu took the worst nerf. Because Bulu's 1.5x in Gen 7, remember, when we got to Gen 8, Terrain Boost went down to 1.3x. And that was a huge, huge loss for Bulu. Because Bulu used to run choice sets, Bandit and Scarf. And Scarf and Bandit, whatever, they could get through resists. Because it was 1.5x on Woodhammer. But now that it's 1.3, you're not able to 2-hit KO Tornadus T with Woodhammer and shit like that. So Scarf kind of fell off. It was tough. It was tough. Bulu got hoed the worst. Alright, next up we have this questionable 3-man. I don't really know how to define these, because Necrozma runs around with 2 Giga broken sets. But these guys are pretty weird overall. These guys are definitely pretty weird. How do we rank these? Lunala was not bad in Gen 7. Ubers. It was like okay. And then we have Solgaleo. Solgaleo probably got the least amount of aura ever. Cause that guy was tested in OU. That's a bad fucking look. Lunala's damn good in Gen 9. I see a lot of Lunala. It was also pretty good in Gen 8. Necrozma is pretty amazing in Gen 8 with Duskmane. Duskmane really did put in a lot of work. Yeah, Duskmane is really fucking amazing. Does a lot of carrying for these. Remember that one tournament game where Lunala hacks the shit out of the one? Yo, I do remember that game. That the one it was the finals tiebreaker, I think, or semifinals tiebreaker. But that was some nasty hacks. I do remember that. Necrozma is the real life Grim Reaper in draft, and then a Popeye's shift lead in singles. That's fucked. That's fucked up. Duskmane is what forced Deoxys A to put Fries in the bag. Bro, Duskmane forced a lot of Pokemon to put Fries in the bag. But yeah, Lunala is really not bad either. Shadow Shield is amazing for trading into like offense teams too. So I can't hate on that. What is it? Hold on. I'm about to look up in another tab. I want to see what Lunala's ranking is in Ubers for this current gen. I think it's pretty good still. Yeah, it's A rank. It's still very good. Necrozma similarly. Okay. And then Solgaleo. Solgaleo is buns. So Solgaleo is really weighing these guys down like crazy. Like he's the Articuno of this shit. But do we give Solgaleo credit for Duskmane's existence? Are we gonna... I think these guys gotta go in top tier, even if Solg is dicks. Because the other guys, they got a lot of motion. I'd probably put them right here. Maybe here. This is tough. I didn't do that for Reshiram. Yo, my bad. I got paid by Solgaleo to make that statement. That's on me. It's not called Solgaleo Necross. Fuck. I did say that shit. That's not called Kyurem Reshiram. Nah, bro. I gotta... This is a toughie. Nah, we gotta do it. Duskmane really is that guy. I think we should because Duskmane has Solg typing while Kyurem White is Dragon Ice. Okay. But Kyurem is so good. Dude, but the guy that stands up has caused me a lot of PTSD in my life, so I might have to do a little subjective ranking. New tier called Held Down by One Bum. Nah, some of these dudes are held down by one bum. Dude, these guys can fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers into like 3 different shits. Even if the Kyurem has its 2 forms, these forms are busted. Alright, we're putting it here. Also, Duskmane is so damn good. If I ran into a tournament in Ubers, I'm not bringing any of these shitters, but I'm probably bringing a Duskmane, so it is what it is. Alright, I didn't know Eternatus is these guys' boss. Apparently that's canon. Eternatus is their boss. These guys are top tier because Zacian is fucking OP, and Eternatus is also OP. Zama holds these 2 down. Although, if we consider Zama to be its regular form, aka the OU GOAT, he's their op? Oh, my bad. I didn't know he was their op. I see. On Bulbapedia, they're all considered to be a trio, which is weird. Alright, if we give Zama C Zama regular representation, aka the Thanos of OU, then these guys are going in all of them goated. I think it has to be. Zacian is Uber's defining. Zacian will define Ubers for the rest of its time. Eternatus is also incredibly fucking good. But then the dog holds them back. Zacian is really overpowered though. Eternatus got 6 green stats. Nah, these gotta be in goated. Zacian being in top tier is just not real. That's not possible. We're gonna put these shits right here. The only reason they're not higher is because that dog is terrible. But yeah, that dog is carried by the fact that regular dog is so good in OU. But man, Zacian is just stupid, bruh. Zacian is so fucking strong and OP. There's no way I can justify Zacian as not being one of the goats. There's no way. It can't happen. Eternatus, Eternamax got the entirety of pure. Yo, I forgot that that's even a thing. Nah, yo. Shout out to Rocket for reminding me of that. Now, let me put that bullshit up on screen. I mean, I know you can't use this in any real format. What is this? What is this? What the fuck? Like, I know this shit isn't technically like real, but what is this shit, bro? Zacian also fucked up the game forever. After Zacian, shit got too fast. Like this is stupid. This is a stupid stat. Why does he exist? This is so ridiculous. What was Zacian got nerfed, right? -5 after Gen 8 or something? -20? Wait. Yeah, whatever, dude. We used to really walk around with this. Yo. Yo. We used to really... Also, Steel Fairy is the best typing ever. Who else has Steel Fairy? Magearna, broken as fuck. Mega Mawile, broken as fuck. Klefki, broken as fuck. Nah, it's unprecedented. This is the original Homelander-ass Pokemon. Just fuck off. Fuck off, Zacian. You're too good. You're too damn good. Your smoke is too tough. Your bitch is too bad. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Zacian gets shit done. Yeah, these guys gotta go in goated. Nah, low-key. Zacian is so tough that I gotta promote. Alright, next up we got Broken 1 and Broken 2. Yo, these guys are going in God tier. I hate these shits. I hate these shits for real. These guys are nasty. Well, Calyrex Ice is actually pretty bad in Gen 8. In Gen 9, he became good as fuck, but he's pretty bad in Gen 8. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Ice Horse, I love the Ice Horse. Sipping on Calyrex Ice type shit, but Calyrex Ice is a VGC demon. Ubers, he's like good, but whatever. Shout out to my guy Bo with the 10 super. Shout out to you, gang. How you doing? But Ice, Terra Ice does get, not Terra Ice, Calyrex Ice with Terra gets the easiest Trick Room late games ever. Calyrex is doing some heavy lifting. We're gonna put these guys right here. Calyrex Ice is not putting up them numbers like that. It's really Shadow Rider that's so fucking overpowered and cheap. I still can't believe these guys are 2 Pokemon. He was only bad in Gen 8 because the Shadow Horse was not banned. You know what? That's fair. The Shadow Horse was around, so why would you use the Ice guy? Because it means you can't use the Ghost guy. You know what? I was hating. You're right. The only reason the Ice guy's bad is because the regular guy exists. So you can't. What about Calyrex regular? Nobody checking for that shit. Nobody checking for that shit. Calyrex regular is a fraud. That guy clicks Leech Seed. I saw one image of Calyrex, like a meme of Calyrex when it first dropped, and it made me never respect Calyrex again. It was a picture of Calyrex reading a book and getting asked, "Where do you work out?" And then Calyrex responded, "I work out at the library." And then he had, you know, because Calyrex has a huge brain. And I instantly reported the meme and the account that made that meme and made a mental note that Calyrex is absolutely buns. So that's about what I know for Calyrex. Shit's ass. But he do be reading books. He do be reading books. Calyrex Ice be clicking Leech Seed and VGC. Yo, what you doing with all that BST clicking Leech Seed? Fuck out of here. Regular Calyrex was never a fraud. People had to believe in him to begin with. Top. Where are the 2 Jimbro Urshifus? Oh, I guess Urshifu's not a legendary. Urshifu would have been in God status, though. Alright. Streets are gonna be mad. These guys are too fucking shiced. I mean, technically, they're not as... Dude, Urshifu's a legendary? Is it? Oh, I wonder why it's not here then. Oh, maybe because Urshifu is actually just one guy. The 2 Mons aren't like different Mons. You know, Woach is weighing these pussios down. But we have 2 of them that got banned to Ubers. One of them that should have been banned with Ting Lu. And then Woach is buns. They're only here for 1 gen. So I'm kind of doing a lot of glaze. But they're never going to be bad. Their abilities are broken. You know what? A boss call has to be made. They're going here. Sorry to say, 2 of these Mons are banned for being overpowered, and they'll always be overpowered. All of these shits fell off except for Lando. Top tier is not happening. Sorry, buds. These Mons are never going to be bad. In fact, 2 of them are so good that they actually go up to this level. If you weigh the overall value and 3 of them are broken, then the 4th one is going to be carried up. Cannot say the same for this. Sorry to say. Chi-Yu as a whole ass website. Does it live Chi-Yu? Exactly. Exactly. Overpowered because of Terra. Tapus with Terra also got banned. Alright. That's definitely the statement of the day. That Chen was... I guess Chen was banned because of Terra and not its broken ability. Same with Chi-Yu. Please, refrain from making scrub statements in the chat. Alright. These shits are going in God status. Sorry to say. If you disagree with my ruinous quartet ranking, sorry to say, buds. I'm right, you're wrong. Low-key Cyclozar should be in there. Bike should be in there. Let's see. Where's Terapagos? Is Terapagos in there? Since when is Terapagos part of their shit? These guys are busted. These guys are cheap as fuck. Miraidon just got banned. Koraidon could have been banned, but that shit's OP. Let's see. Yeah, I gotta put these shits up here. They're too good. There's nowhere else for these 2 to go besides here. Metagame definers, generation definers. I mean, they're probably better than these 3 in a vacuum, but they've only been here for 2 gens, so who knows what's going to change over time. I can't believe Miraidon got suspect tested twice. When Miraidon initially got suspect tested, I voted no ban, and then when it got retested, I didn't vote, I didn't get Rex. The shit got banned, unfortunately. Blunder for this list, if Amon is too broken for OU but is ass in Ubers, does that take away from their goatedness? Yes. Unfortunately. I guess Woach is pretty cocks, so it's tough for me to put him here. Alright, fine. Even though these 3 are the goats, literally the fucking goats, I'll put him like here. Because Woach really does suck, which is sad. This is sad though. Why is Woach part of these guys' family? If Woach wasn't around, these shits would be promoted to, like, here. This is so sad, bro. Nah, Woach is ass. Nah, fuck Woach, bro. Woach sabotaged these goats. Nah, fuck Woach. He really sabotaged these 3. This is really sad. Woach really just destroyed their entire rep. This is the guy that nobody wanted to bring to the function. Woach, you scaring everybody at the function. You scaring the hoes and the pros, Woach. God damn it. God damn it, Woach. That was my live Wochen reaction. I'm sorry. I'm never going to hate on Wochen. His design is so tough, but man. Why did they... Yeah, who gave Wochen the Ox? What is Wochen putting on the Ox? Why the hell... The only thing Wochen has is memes. Yeah, bro. That's how I know you're not putting up numbers. Wochen best feat is causing a blunder cortisol spike. Deadass. Deadass, my cortisol just spiked thinking about this shit. God damn it. What about Bulu? Don't do no what about Bulu. Bulu actually was amazing in its debut gen. And in Gen 8, it's just whatever, regular, okay. No. Hop off Bulu. Y'all weren't there for Bulu. Alright. Bruh. Dun 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 dun. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know, bruh. I don't know. Nah, these guys are ass. Are you guys telling me Petch is part of this? But Bulbapedia didn't say Petch is part of this. You know what? Even if Petch was part of this, these guys are still going in mostly bad. Because they're mostly fucking garbage. Sorry to say. But they would be promoted here if Petch was on their squad, or carried by one boss. You know what? Fine. We'll assume Petch is on here just to give these guys a chance. But Petch is doing all of the heavy lifting. Although Okidogi is UUBL, which is pretty impressive. Alright. Y'all will go here. Man, these guys suck. Straight up, these guys suck. But man, it's tough. I feel like Petch is not on the squad. I feel like we're doing these guys a favor. Alright, I'm going to tell y'all here. If Petch is part of this, they can go here. If Petch is not part of this, they're going here. I've decided to make the boss call to not include Petch. Sorry to say. I'm not including Petch. These shits are here. That's the final statement. Sorry to say. These shits are terrible. I'm sorry, bro. They're terrible. They're terrible. They're better than the Lake Trio. Are they? Maybe in Gen 9 they are. But these guys were OU back in the day. These guys are never going to be OU. They are gods if we include the TCG. Alright, buddy. Alright, buddy. They're Make-A-Wish kids and Petch is the celebrity like John Cena? What the fuck? Who is the boss in the hero trio? Cobalion alone is better than the Lottie twins? Alright, it's looking like time to wrap up this stream from what I'm reading in the chat right now. Okay. These three are mostly bad, but Crown is actually kind of valid, so... I might put these guys here. Nah, I don't know. They're actually bad. These guys are trash. And even Crown is like okay. It's nothing. It's no like Crown ain't no carry. You know? Crown is like a very fringe OU pick. Boulder should be better than it is, but nobody ever uses Boulder. Remember when people thought Boulder was going to be broken and it ended up being fucking horrible? Yo, these guys are really bad. I don't know. Yo, what are we thinking, G's? What are we thinking? I'll let the chat decide. I think this shit's terrible. All three are pretty bad, bro. Crown did put in some work. Alright, Crown, I actually said Crown was going to be dog shit and never OU when it dropped. And I had to eat my words because Crown had a very successful OU career overall. These are not legendaries. Alright, I'll rename this. Although I just took this off somebody else and they called them legendary groups. But, alright, I'll keep that in mind. People saw Boulder faster than Moon and lost their minds just for Boulder to be ass. Yo, Boulder's speed stat is so shice though, 381. It's a big deal. Alright, they're going in mostly bad. Yo, am I crazy if I put these three in God status? Yo, am I crazy? None of these guys miss. They're all amazing. No, they're above amazing. These guys are gods. These guys are gods. These guys are all fucking broken. Wake is potentially the lowest skill necessary for a Pokemon. I guess I'll just put them in all of them goated though, because I can't in good conscience put them with these three. These shits are obscene. These shits are obscene. I hate Walking Wake playing against it. Every time I play an opponent with Sun Walking Wake, I make a mental note. This guy's bad and just wants to click Hydro Steam and enjoy it. Fuck you. Gouging Fire. Gouging Fire was one of the most controversial mons ever invented. Who's my favorite legend? Reshiram's my favorite legend. They might only have one gen under their belts, but Wake is the Weathermon, Raging Bolt is a staple, and Gouge got banned to Ubers. That's what I'm saying. These three are just... Wake is the fairest, and he's the cheapest weather abuser created thus far. It's just got 3 typings. Do you think we ever get Gouge back? I think we're not going to get Gouge back until Gen 10, honestly speaking, because Gouge with Terra and the ability to Dragon Dance plus Morning Sun is so dumb, bro. And it has booster energy. I don't think Gouge is ever going to be balanced again in Gen 9, unfortunately. Way too cheap. Way too cheap. Gouge actually takes no skill. Well, that's the thing with these three. None of these three take any skill at all to run. They all come out the gate with like 500 attack stat. Amazing coverage. Godly typing. Yeah. These guys are like right here. Because obviously a Mon like Calyrex Shadow is better than these Pokemon, but the combination is held down by this guy. And these three, they're just too shiced. So I'm going to let my bias hang and I'm putting these shits up here. Can you do a Diancie, Magearna, and Volcanion trio? Is that a trio? That ain't no trio. Also, wait, that's a great point, Coldest Juice Box. They are so good that they got Sun as the best weather. Sun was nothing until Gen 9. Sun was literally nothing. Then these three came up, and now Sun is one of the most spammed team styles ever in Gen 9. It's not even like... It's not even a question. No, Sun was never an actual weather. Sun was literally put the fries in the bag, bruh. Don't cap, Sun was okay in Gen 8. Yeah, I guess you're right. Sun is okay in Gen 8, but the shit's still ass. And carried by Blaziken and Venusaur. Sun guy's crazy. Gen 5 Dugtrio Sun would like to have a word with you? Gang, that was fucking 15 years ago. Sun used to get carried by one Venusaur. Although, I will give you that the Dugtrio Sunstall was really, really strong. Would Rain have been better if it weren't for those guys making Sun big? No, Rain's ass. Rain gets 6-0'd by Gambit, and it gets 6-0'd by Zamazenta. Rain would be better if Arch came back. Archaludon needs to come back and save Rain. That's the only way for Rain to be an actual top tier strategy. Until now, I mean, until Arch returns, Rain's bad. Of course, Zard Y is good in Gen 7, but Sun teams did not exist. It was just Zard Y as a Mon that sets up Sun. There's no Zard Y Venusaur combos in Gen 7 tournament. That doesn't exist. Although Fire Spam exists, so that's like kind of a like a Sun, like a pseudo Sun type thing. But these three really defined Sun. Overall, there's probably a couple of things I could change on this list, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied. These are definitely the gods of like trios or duos and whatever. These three are disgusting. Too bad that these four only existed for one generation, because these are disgusting. But then again, what if next generation they nerf the abilities, like the Ruin abilities? What if they go down from... What is the Ruin nerf? It's 1/3, right? Right? Or is it 1/4? Is it 1/4? 1/4, I think, right? What if... Okay, yeah. So what if, yeah, it is 1/4. Like, what if they nerf it next gen? What if it's like 1/6 or 1/8 or some bullshit like that, right? Then these guys aren't as good as they once were. I'm disrespecting Ho-Oh? Yeah, you might be right. Ho-Oh is just that good that these could be top tier. Maybe I did disrespect Ho-Oh. Do you think getting rid of Terra hurts Woach even more? Bruh. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I have no idea what the fuck the implications of Terra have to do with Woach. Woach is ass no matter what way we slice it, unfortunately. Gen 3, 6, and 9 guys are gods. Can't wait for Gen 12 just to delete your opponent's router. Wait, you're right. Hold on, you're cooking. Gen 12, we're back? Okay, we can put these guys here. because of Ho-Oh. Even though Zap is that good. Would Steel Flying Wo-Chen be good? Alright. And that's where we complete today's stream. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back. Give me more ideas for what you want to see ranked, because there's a bunch of different stuff we can do competitively. If that new season is out tonight for VGC, I'm gonna tap in. I'll, because I got a team. So if the new season drops tonight, is it tonight or tomorrow for VGC? If it's tonight, I'll hit a double stream. But if it's tomorrow, then I'll stream it tomorrow. Alright. Everybody have a good one. Peace.